Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katie, for those who have for some reason forgotten, and this is Books for Us. So with it being December and near the end of the year, I decided to make a video about my top books that I've read this year. Now, I've read a lot of books this year. Again, because I'm a children's librarian, I've read a lot of picture books, and then I've read other chapter books throughout the year. But this video specifically will be my top 20 books of the year. These are chapter books. I did not include picture books at all, otherwise the list would be much longer. So without further ado, I will get started. Hopefully this is a short video. I'm hoping to keep this short-ish. There are 20 books, but I will try to keep the descriptions short so you're not here for like 30-40 minutes. And I will say before starting that these are in no particular order. They're just the top 20 books that I've rated 5 stars that I've really liked throughout the year. So with that being said, the first one I'm going to talk about is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. It's one of the more popular ones on BookTube and in the world abroad. It's about this black girl who grows up in this kind of lower neighborhood, who sees her friend get shot in front of her, and then kind of what happens in that. They did make a movie out of this book. It has come out. I believe it's still in theaters if you want to go see it. The next one is Otherworld by Pete Houtman. Now, I have mentioned this before. Otherworld talks about what happens when universes split. So in one universe, the boy is alive and the girl's died, and the other universe, the girl's alive and the boy's died or disappeared. It's a children's book. It's really good. It talks about, universes similar to, I use the example of Doctor Who, and when Donna originally had gone left, but then is forced to make the decision to go right, and kind of what happens with that. The next one is actually a duology. It's the Nemesis series by April Daniels. It's a superhero film, which I usually superhero books that I usually don't read at all. But I had read the back of this and it looked really interesting. Basically, it's about this transgender girl who becomes a superhero by having the past superhero touch her at the end of his life. It's a little confusing, but I have mentioned this in previous videos. I don't remember which one, but feel free to go back and look at past monthly wrap-ups I've done. I believe I mentioned them there. But it's really good. It talks about superheroes and what constitutes a superhero, what constitutes gender. So I really like that series. The next book I want to mention is, of course, A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, which I've actually just read this year for the first time. I am waiting for book number 5, A Dance with Dragons. I believe that's number 5. To come in from the library. I've been waiting for like 2 months now, but there are a lot of holds on it, and I really liked that. So if you don't know what A Game of Thrones is about, read the book or watch the TV show. But basically, medieval world with dragons, and yeah, it's good, fun, a lot of epic fantasy stuff in that book happening. The next one is actually Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I don't know if this is the first one I've read by Neil Gaiman, but it's one of the few I've read by him. I've actually never read it before this year, and I really liked it. I had seen the show, I had seen the movie a while back, and thought I should probably read the book. So I did, and I really liked it, how Neil Gaiman really brings in everything, the portal type things. The next book I have on this list is The Novice by Taran Matharu. I mentioned this last video with the portals. But yeah, it's all about this boy who has abilities, who's lower class, so it means that he shouldn't have had abilities, but he does anyways. And so he's sent to this school, and the novice is the first in a trilogy of kind of what happens at the school, who he makes friends with, and all that good fun stuff. The next book I want to talk to you about is The Pants Project by Kat Clark. It's about a girl who is trans, who knows she's a boy. So she looks female, but knows she's male. She hasn't come out to anyone except maybe one of her friends by the end of the book. But her school uniform, all females are supposed to wear skirts, and she doesn't want to. In the book, she's still referred to as she, and she still goes by she. But she knows that she is a boy. So she gets people involved and gets the rule changed so that girls can also wear pants as part of the uniform. So I really think that's cool because it's a children's book. Well, it's a more of a middle grade book. So it's really cool that Kat Clark brought this up into that kind of readership in a really cool and fun way. The next book I have is Wires and Nerve by Marissa Meyer, which is kind of like it's a graphic novel, but it's kind of like the sequel series to the Lunar Chronicles. So it follows Io, and kind of what happens after the whole Lunar Chronicles finishes up. The next one I have is Arusha and the End of Time by Roshani Chakshi. Sorry if I mispronounced the name. But if you liked Percy Jackson, you like this one because this one is just a Indian version of that. Not Native American because there's another series up for that one. But this one is actually like Indian mythology, which is really cool. The next one I have is Illuminae by Amy Kaufman, which you've probably heard me talk about several times now. But it's basically space opera. So a colony gets attacked by a company, and kind of what happens there and how people react to different things. The next book I have is The ABCs of LGBT Plus by Ashley Mardell, who actually goes by Ash now. They are a YouTuber. They actually go by any pronouns, he, she, or they. But if you're interested, I'll go to their channel and check it out. I'll leave it in the comments below as well. So if you wanted to see what they're all about, go over there. But it's self-explanatory. ABCs of LGBT plus gives different examples, different terminology, all of that good fun stuff. The next one is Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shannon McGuire. Third book in a series, and it's really good because it's one of those books where it deals with portals, and think Alice in Wonderland portals and Wizard of Oz portals, kind of what happens to the kids afterwards. Yeah, Beneath the Sugar Sky deals with what happens to a kid of someone who everyone thought was dead, but had died before they could give birth to this kid. So it's really interesting. I really liked that whole aspect of it. The next one I want to talk about is Bud Not Buddy by Christopher Paul Curtis. This is a fairly classic children's book that I've always heard talked about in library circles as well as school circles and different classes that I think everyone should read. It's about a black boy in the Great Depression who's looking for family because his mother's died and he's in foster care. and he knows that he has family out there because of stuff his mother has collected and given to him before she died. The next one is the 8th book in the um, Amulet series, Supernova by Kazu Kibuishi. Again, if I mispronounced it, I'm sorry. This book just came out a few months back, September, I believe, and it's the 8th in 9 books. I believe it's 9 books. As of now, it's 9 books. I don't know if he's going to do more than 9. And it just continues the story of the 2 kids who have gone through a portal and are apparently like the saviors of the world or something. The next one is the Land of Stories series by Chris Culver. It's 6 books, and then he has some offshoots ones, but it's basically about these 2 twins who go through a portal into the Land of Stories with Cinderella and Little Red Riding Hood and Snow White and the Fairy Godmother and have adventures. So that's part of my top 20 books. Only a few more, I swear. The next one is The Young Elites by Marie Lu, sorry. It's about how a group of teens who were affected by this plague type thing when they were younger, and some of them have visible signs of it, some of them don't, but they all have some sort of abilities after that. So that's really good and fun. I liked that series, especially that first book. The next one I read for the first time this year was Being Jazz, My Life as a Transgender Teen by Jazz Jennings. Jazz is a YouTuber mainly. She's also a trans advocate. She's one of the most well-known trans teens who started transitioning before puberty. So it's really interesting to see her side of it and how she saw growing up and how she saw the struggles of what she went through as well as her parents. But yeah, it was really interesting. Definitely give it a read if you have time. Maybe not this year because we only have a few weeks left, but maybe next year. Now the next one is another graphic novel. It's called Scooby Apocalypse. Right now there are 4 books out. I've read the first 2, but this is by Keith Giffen, a graphic novel. It's basically what would happen if the Scooby Gang met during the apocalypse, basically. They're all, a little older, and, the way they meet each other is different than what they had met, how they had met in, like, the cartoons and the TV shows that we know and love. So it's really interesting to see how they would react in the apocalypse. The 19th book in this list is Simon versus the Homo Sapiens by Becky Albertalli. It's about these 2 kids, this kid who has to deal with being a closeted gay teenager in high school and how his secret comes out and what follows that. Also made into a movie, which was pretty good. I don't know if they'll continue it into the next one, which is Leah and the Offbeat. But it was really good, really interesting, and I really liked it. And the last one on this list is Ghosts by Raina Telgemeier, graphic novel for kids about a family who moves to a city or a town out in California and realizes that every year on Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos? Yes, Dia de los Muertos. My Spanish is a little iffy, I'm sorry. The ghosts actually come back and you can see them and you can talk to them and interact with them. And the older girl of the 2 siblings is scared of ghosts. So that was my top 20 books of 2018. Looking back, I should have done 18 books for 2018. But anyways, top 20 books of 2018 in no particular order, just my top 20. You can see a few themes going through, a lot of LGBTQ plus, a lot of a few graphic novels, YA, yeah, kind of different things in that way. If you have any fun books that you've read this year, comment below and I'll try to read them in the next year or so. I love getting suggestions about books I should read, what I should read next, all that good fun stuff. Just a note, I am sorry for the change in lighting in the back. I usually do this by an overhead light as well as the windows, and I had some interruptions while filming this. But yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and I will see you guys later. Bye.